Alright boys, we back. I know it's been a couple days. I know you guys have been dying for a new video. All three of you. Okay, I'm going to do a quick walkthrough of the setting up this trade at ease algo deal here. So let's just do a new chart layout here. So first thing you want to do is go to, see if they add it here, trade at ease. Okay. First off, you want to read these instructions according to the trade at ease guys. They're very angry if you don't use this algo the way they want you to use it. But yeah, definitely follow these suggestions here. Let's see if they give us the link here to go to. They don't. Okay, so we watching Doge today because wow, Doge went rippy mode. I had a stupid amount of Doge down here. Of course, that I buy here, and that's probably going to go higher. But okay, let's go see trade at ease. Go. So if you get to this page, I'm going to put the link. Am I going to put the link in? I don't know. But you got to add it to the script right here. Remove from favorites. You got to hit add to favorites. And I think some of you did that. You know, it's in your favorites. Trade at ease algo. And then you click it to add it. So I don't know at what point you're having an issue with this, if it's just throwing you an error. But I do have the pro version of TradingView, which I highly recommend. Just because, I mean, TradingView is just amazing. So for me, some of you guys might like it, but I think it's amazing, and it's definitely worth. Stop asking me for that. I don't want to do that. It's definitely worth the $30 basically to get the extra 5 indicators. As you can see, I've got 9 indicators now on my charts, and I'll show you all the ones. And you get 4 charts in one layout. Boom. But you can't do that with this one or this one. 30 server-side alerts. I mean, since I've been using alerts, I never used to use them. I'm using the alerts all the time, you know. And so having 30 is really nice because you hit 10 pretty fast once you start using them. Don't care about the exotic charts. Don't care about that. Don't care about that. Indicators on indicators. It's pretty nice too if you ever want to use like a moving average on an RSI or something like that, but not that important because you can usually find scripts in the indicators. Somebody that's already kind of something that's free, but somebody's already kind of done what you want them to do. You know, this is just the RSI, all the different versions of RSI. But I definitely like it, and I added on data as well for like $2-3 a month or something. So I pay like $32 a month just for this pro package. The other reason too is you can use it on mobile and it doesn't change your layout, so you can have it open here on the web browser and then you can open it up on your phone. It's not a big deal. It'll keep all your settings and stuff. If you use this one and this one, it's going to make you basically log out of the other one, and these two are garbage to me. Like if you're going to pay, you just pay for this one. So I'm not sure if you need this one or if you can get the trade at ease algo with this one. You should try this one if that's all you're doing it for, but I recommend going here. The only reason I would say to do this one is if you're just a crazy trader and you need 25 indicators or 8 charts or 400 server-side alerts, or if you need second-based intervals. So yeah, or wow, look at that, 4x to more data, 20k bars. I don't even know what that means, but and invite only indicators. So yeah, this one, I mean, if you're watching my video, you ain't needing this one, I can promise you that. So I probably, you know, I like to say I'm pro plus, but I'm definitely not a pro. So but yeah, this is the best one for that. And then you just go there, add it, put it on there. One thing, so I just want to go over it one more time with this indicator here, this trade at ease indicator. I love it. I just love how it's free, and I love how it's just so simple. And if I was a new trader, this is all I'd be messing with right now. Look, it even caught, and I just put it on there. It even caught. Yeah, it even caught this this move here, which is cool. So let's put on Helkanashi before they yell at me, before them guys get mad. And we're gonna do 15-minute. We're gonna do 2. There we go. Wow, look at that. Okay, so I still not sure why they're making you take profits so fast. This is the only issue I have with it. Is just, man, these 3 profit targets are, man, they're just so close together. And the move was just so incredible. But if you traded this Dogecoin today and you got the buy signal here, which something I love about it is you can add an alert to it. Algo long, and it'll send you a pop-up or a notification to that it's time to look at the buy, and then you wait for the entry, which is right here. And the one thing about this is I think you should trade larger amounts with it, just because your risk to reward is already set up, and the profit targets seem like they're set up for almost scalps in a way. And so Trade at Ease, please correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what it feels like. It feels like if I was going to buy this signal, I would just load the boat at the entry, and you got your stop loss already set up, and you just, if it rips, it rips. If it hits your stop, whatever, you take a little bit of a loss. But yeah, anyways, and then you take your profits on the way up. 1, 2, 3. You take a fourth, and you let the rest ride until basically it hits your trailing stop, which follows you all the way. So this trade, you would have hit to 0.24, and then who knows, you might have been stopped out. But if you would have left it in there, just let the last fourth ride, you would have caught it. You probably would have caught it to here. But that's the main issue I have with it, is that trailing stop knocks you out of these kind of moves so many times. But again, it's a really good system to use. Okay, but anyways, I digress from that. Let's talk about what happened today, my friends, my fans. My goodness, let's look at. You guys probably already know the drama with GME. I was up at about 5-ish, 4-ish, 5-ish. I saw GME had ripped to 515. I think 513 was the top. And Robinhood decided to go ahead and say, okay, yeah, we're just gonna not let you guys buy shares. Obviously that was a horrible idea, but they had no choice. Now that I've learned how it works, the clearinghouses that they use and the clearinghouses that Webull uses and Tastyworks and E-Trade, the market was gonna crater if they allowed GME to trade today normally, because they needed a day to, and I'm gonna tell you my theory here. They needed a day before options expiration, and this is not really my theory, it's just kind of what I've been hearing, and I believe it, is that these clearinghouses that trade these stocks, this, GMC, BlackBerry, a couple others, like Naked and KOSS, and they're going to run out of, they don't have enough money to cover these trades. There's so many shares being traded, like on GME, there's just not enough shares to, there's not enough shares available for you to buy. These guys these Wall Street bet guys are just holding on. They're hoarding the shares, and if Melvin Capital goes bankrupt, then the clearinghouse is stuck holding the bag, and they don't have enough money to cover all this. Now tomorrow, they needed a day to capitalize themselves, I think, and to allow some of the hedge funds to get out. Because I heard a story where there was a guy who was forced liquidated here at about 118, and that was interesting because I was like, that's kind of like the bottom right there, and I bet you they forced liquidated a lot of people here, and that's basically what I think is the hedge funds getting out right here at the bottom. And once some of the hedge funds were able to cover their positions, like Melvin saved them a little bit, because it was like a little act of mercy to these hedge funds, because they're still going to get destroyed in my opinion. But at least it staved off the pain for a day, especially what's going to happen in expiration day when millions and millions of call options get either exercised, most likely get exercised, and those shares get called. There ain't enough shares. There ain't enough shares to be getting called right now. If you look at the statistics, the mechanics of what's short, what's float, what's the what the float is, and what the short interest is, and what's available to trade, and who has what. Wall Street Bets guys and people holding GME got these hedge funds built the balls, essentially, in my opinion, and that's why you saw some unprecedented stuff happening. Same thing with AMC. I think these guys are. I don't think it's as bad with it's not near as bad with AMC, but as it is with GameStop. But I think AMC is still pretty bad, and it's not near as bad with BlackBerry. I don't think this is even a play. I think if you were going to play this short squeeze, you're going to play AMC and GME. And the only reason I play AMC is just because it's just a smaller price stock. I mean, I don't really I don't really have the funds to be buying this $300 stock, you know, and then the wild swings. I mean, this thing tagged 485 to 111 in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So an hour and 15 minutes, hour and 30 minutes. You had a 400-point swing on it, which is cool if you know you want to trade this volatility, which is fun actually. I traded it the other day. I bought at 250 in the morning. Yeah, I bought right here. It went ahead and tried to rip to 370, and so I sold it right there. I wasn't even really thinking about it. I just like, wow, it's at 370. Okay, I just made $1,000 because it was only 10 shares, and I just sold it. And but that's the thing with these stocks. So I think tomorrow you're gonna see. I put an alert here for 1,000. Okay, because I think it's possible. I think 1,000 is in the cards. Maybe even 1,200 for a second. I don't think it's going to stay up there very long, but I think once it hits 1,000, you're going to see a major crater. So I'm actually set up in my mind right now that I'm considering, if it hits 1,000, I'm considering buying the 100 puts. You know, as far out as I can afford. Now the puts are insane. The options are insanely priced. I don't even know if the brokerage will let me buy them tomorrow, but they're insanely priced, and I don't know if I'm going to take the risk. I don't know what's going to happen after everything. I mean, I saw a 20 put for $9 when it was at like $300. The shares are at $300. So 20 put at $9 when the shares are at $3. I saw that the 320 calls were at 7K when the stock was at like 220. So 100 points out, and the 320 calls were $7,000. Then it ripped to like 380, you know, and so that's why they were like that. But I don't want to get caught holding those kind of bags, you know. So if I see a 100 call here, it's at $1,000 tomorrow, and I see 100 calls sitting there at like, you know, if I see it for like $1,000, I might even take that. $1,000, $500, I might take that. Even for the day, it might even be worth it. But we'll see what's happening tomorrow. But yeah, so that's that one. That's AMC. That was nutty. The Fook happened to Tesla after hours. Wow, talk about just pure cuckish. And I think it's coming down lower. So, and I've been testing these levels out here, and wow, they're impeccable. And I think I went over this in the last video, but something I added here, and I need to save this template actually, so save it as trade at ease 2.0 number interval. So I'm gonna save this layout, but what we got going on here is you got the confluence of levels. I don't know if a lot of people out there, the trades I see on Twitter and stuff are all basically like this, right? You got, this is like the classic setup where you got RSI, and this is okay to trade, but I'm not a fan of it, and I'm going to tell you why in a minute. RSI, you got, I'm gonna get rid of this algo here, put it back on candlesticks, which is fine. Let's just go with Apple here. And then you got the 50-day moving average. And I'm not, it's EMA, SMA, don't really care, whatever you want to use. And you got like a 200, and like a 50-day. Like, this is like the most basic of basic setups that you can get here on technical trading, which is okay. And I think there's a lot of traders that still use this kind of thing. And it's fine. You just got to know how to read it. But what you always want to have in mind of what I've learned is that levels are more important than moving averages, or your RSI, or your MACD, or your Arun momentum indicator, or whatever you got, or your DeMark counts and all this stuff. The levels are most important, and the levels that I care about the most are pivot points. Pivot points are still used by these order flow traders and these market makers. So why aren't we using them? Why use, does the market maker or order flow trader care what the RSI says, or the MACD says, or the 50-day, I mean, are you really trading off of these? Are you really buying and selling off of this moving average here? You could have, right? This 200, SMA is not bad, but are you really buying here and selling here? Did you short this 200? You can't really tell. So you can use these, but why not use what they're using? Because I've read a few order flow books, I've listened to a few market maker interviews. They're all using pivot levels and just open closes and highs and lows. I mean, that's really as simple as a market maker gets, because they're basically reading order flow and they're using basic pivots. So they're looking at the depth of the market, they're looking at the the order flow, they're looking at time and sales. That's how they're making their decisions. And the really good traders, that's how they're making their decisions. And so what I did was I just wanted to know these levels here that look like this, where you got a previous month, open, high, low, and close. I can go back with this indicator and I can look at the last 10 months open, high, low, close get printed onto the screen here. Okay, so this is a Tesla. It ain't got no previous month, so let's just look at maybe like does Apple have any? So look, okay, look at this. So we got a previous month level. I don't care which level it is, I just know that it's going to be a level. You can see where it came right down to it right there. It tested it again there. Then you got a monthly pivot, so I'll put those in white. You got a monthly pivot level right there. So these can be your targets, and this has worked beautiful lately, is using these bigger levels as targets and reversal points and break points. So the monthly there and the weekly. So you got a weekly level there, and this is my color code. I got white for monthlies, green for weeklies. So you got your weekly pivot level there, so that'll be a big level at some point. You see that bounce right off of it, and I'm like totally convinced that this is the best setup I've ever had. And I've made the most money I've ever made using this, and I've been trading for about a year now. Seriously trading. I've been trading for 3 years, but I've been seriously focused on it and trying it and learning stuff. That this is by far the best that I've ever used, this system right here, as far as for trading. Obviously my trading's improved because I'm getting a better idea of the context of the markets and what people are trying to do, and but finding levels and finding trades and entries and stuff like that, that's what this has been golden for. So then you got your daily pivot level, which is going to change every day. What I like about this is going to kind of give you an idea of the range for the day, what is possible. And so when I see a huge wide pivot, daily pivot, then I look at what the mid is, where the mid is, and you can see it came right up to that mid and dropped. And right here normally when Apple rips like this, and I was long Apple coming into the earnings, and so I was like, okay, cool, it's coming back, it's coming back. But then I saw this, I knew it ain't coming back. So this was like, okay, so this is, the purple is daily, so this was a daily close yesterday, right where it came up pre-market. So that's going to be another level too. I didn't, I was going to put another line on here, I would put another line there at pre-market level. So that's 2 levels there, and then you got the mid pivot there too that's hanging out right above it. In my mind, a rip like this, it ain't happening. I could have bought puts right there, and I would have if I wasn't already long like an idiot. So I probably should have still just ended up buying puts here just to cover my position on the long side, but I'm not that good yet. But still, I knew this wasn't making it through. A rip like this wasn't going through here, and because you just got this wall here. So all the order flow traders, all the market makers, they're all just sitting here waiting for you to push it right up into them, and then they sell it all into you. A confluence of levels, confluence of natural levels is kind of what I think that's what I'll call this, confluence of natural levels. But that's what I like about this. So then you got yearlies. So then here's something else I was playing, and it's worked like a charm too. I was playing this naked here, and the call out was made. I'm part of this like trading group called the Atlas Trading Group, and it's just this massive, it's almost like a huge pump and dump group. But you know what, I'm taking the trades because man, these things can rip. So I was in this thing from down here 0.5, okay, and it's ripping. And so I have these pivot levels set up, and I'm telling my buddies about it, and I'm saying, look, this thing can go, it's got to break this level here, 0.95. It has to, because if it doesn't break 0.95, so look, it came right up to 0.95, and this is the yearly pivot. The yearly pivot is what I'm learning is the most important, yearly pivot. And so it couldn't break the yearly pivot. It came back down to VWAP. You always got to have a VWAP on there. If you're not trading with a VWAP, you're a schmuck, okay? Because VWAP is what everybody looks at. So VWAP came right back to VWAP, bounced off of that, classic, and then it just struggled with that line a little bit, right? And then it made its final like little dump here. Last couple guys getting out of it, and then it ripped. Right when it ripped there, it was gone. So what I was sitting here saying, like, dude, guys, you got to hang on to this, okay? Trust me. If it breaks this level, it's gone. The next level is 1.8, and because there's nothing, this line wasn't there, and so the only other line was this one, which was a previous monthly. Look exactly where it stopped, previous freaking monthly level, and then it even bounced there in the after hours. But there was the next level in between, and then it ripped all the way back, all the way to 1.8, and then guess where it went next? And this is high momentum happening here, but it went right. It went right up to the 3.5 level. It tried to break it later on the next day, but it couldn't. And then look where it bounced. It came right back to a monthly level, broke it, came back, retested it, came all the way back down again. And this level couldn't even hold because that was just a massive sell-off. Came right back to another. This is a daily close right here. Previous daily close line that gets reset every day. I'm sitting here watching the markets here. The ES is down 50. I think it's going to be down 100. But we'll look at it here in a second. We'll look at SPY. See what's going to happen with it. But so then, yeah, you see, just these levels are just crazy. Then look at this one. This is one I told my uncle about. My uncle-in-law, really, but I just call him my uncle. I told him about this stock a couple days ago. I said they got some really good news. You know, I think he got in around 10. He had a massive amount of shares. I think he had like 20,000 shares at 10, right? And so this day is when it decided that it wanted to rip because they had some new some COVID test that got approved or some retarded news, but they just ripped it. And I said, he was in it, he was just like, man, this thing is going. I'm like, okay, you got to watch that 17. And why was I saying 17? I said 17 all day to him. I'll show you my text. I said 17 like 50 times. And I said, if it goes through, it's gone. If I said if it goes through, it's going to 19, and then it's going to rip to 27. And I was in the 15 calls here, and they were just lighting up, dude. It was just insane. They were just going crazy. But then once they hit this 17, this is a yearly pivot. I mean, you can see the volume profile. There's just not enough volume to really bust that through. That's your reversal point. I mean, it's not to mention. So if you learn how to read these charts a little bit, you can see, I mean, this is just overextended. You don't need an RSI to tell you this is overextended. You throw RSI on here, I mean, let's look at it. How much does RSI throw us off? I mean, RSI traders, they're out of this right here, like freaking out. Oh my gosh, a silver bot. And even here you got the double top, so that might give you a little extra confirmation, but that's just on this chart. I mean, I don't even mess with this. I don't care about RSI. RSI is pure trash to me. And I'm not a great trader or anything. I've traded with RSI for so long, and it's never been very good for me. But anyways, you can tell this is overextended. Why? Because of how far away it is from the VWAP, the distance here. Look at the distance here. It just keeps getting wider and wider and wider until you finally get this one huge candle right into that resistance. And you got this little tiny bit of volume over here. A little bit of volume there that kind of tells you like it's just getting exhausted. So take these price action cues, and I told him, I said, look man, you just made 70% in a day. It's probably time to get out of here. I mean, I would sell at least some of it here at 17. Did he sell it? I don't think so, but I texted him later. I texted him a picture of this. I said, look, right to 17 like I said, and it came right back down. And then okay, so those are the levels, and you take a picture of this, put it all on there, and then you got your volume profile, which is always important. And the only real reason I use that is just, again, for this volume. I want to know how much volume is trading there, because if it's super thin, then you ain't getting through without some volume. Volume is the most important. So always have a volume confirmation on here, and then you always get this point of control line, which gets traded around a lot too. So this one is more dynamic. So you got your natural levels for the year, month, quarter, daily that get printed for the day, and then you got your natural level that gets kind of moved around. So you got your natural point of control, you got your VWAP for the intraday type of levels. VWAP, most important. Point of control is also really good. A lot of times you'll see, if it's not a super volatile stock, you'll see price just kind of trade in between these two. Whether the VWAP is above it, it's just going to try to hang out. So real natural levels. And then I use this algo. I actually changed it. TradeAtEase might be mad, but I just basically use the sentiment, and then I use take wicks into account. And the reason I like it though is just because it gives you this nice little cloud. And I don't use it that much. That's why I made it real light, but I do like it because it's just going to kind of give you an indication of, like, because it's taken, as far as I know, based on what I've read, it's taken in volume and volatility and the previous history of the stock. It's taken all that into account when it's generated that buy signal. So I want to have all of that information in there in one easy little read, but I don't want it cluttering up my screen. So if I add everything in there, I mean, the screen is just, it's just crazy cluttered, and I don't like all that. It's just too much buys and extra lines, and so, you know, it's just, I don't need all that. I got my own support resistance. I don't even use trend lines. I don't need the volatility, and I don't need them to tell me to buy and sell and stuff. So because I got my own methods for determining that. So the only thing I want is just, okay, is this thing in a buy signal? So what is another thing? Let's see. Let's go look at SPY. The SPY should be live right now. Is this where it's at right now? Where we at on ES? This thing is not live at all. ES sitting down there at 373. So SPY is right down here, 373.2. So you guys ever want to use SPY as an indicator of what futures are doing? It's just a tenth of what futures are, like almost to the penny. So it's trading around this weekly pivot right now is what SPY would be at. And so tomorrow, you know, you got the day for tomorrow. This is what you're looking for. I think this is what it's trying to go for. I think it's trying to go for this monthly pivot of 371.50, and you want to see that hold. If that goes, we'll see what the pivots generate tomorrow too, the dailies, but next monthly is down here. Next monthly support 1. You got some weekly supports in here, and you'll have some daily supports, but there's a lot of air down here. So tomorrow, I mean, looking for a bounce at 371.50 with this chart setup. It's already come down a lot. It bounced right at that weekly pivot right there on the green. Came all the way through VWAP. It came all the way through some other weekly levels and a monthly level even, so it's breaking a lot. It's even underneath this point of control. Right now it's at the daily pivot, so we'll see how it reacts to this daily pivot first and if it can break these lines. But I expect a bounce here, mainly because it bounced here at the monthly again, so I think it's going to bounce there again tomorrow. You'll probably see like it's going to gap down. Where was it at again? 373. So it's right here. I bet you see a gap down and a touch of this 369, a 370 level, and then you see a rip. That's my plan tomorrow. I'm going to see this. We'll see if I'm right. I'm just going to leave these arrows here. It's probably going to come right to there. I don't think it's actually going to go. If it hits these levels, it might bust through, but I don't think so. You can see a gap down and a rip. What time does it start? Yeah, so right there. Now, I think later on it's going to go lower, but I don't think it can go that low that fast unless we're just cratering like March. And if we are cratering like March, oh, that's okay. I'm 95% cash right now, so I don't care. Crater, let me buy the bottom, please. Anyways, that's it for now, guys. Let me tell you guys right now that these levels are legit, and I've tried out 50 different systems for multiple trades, and this is the best I've ever come across. So anyways, like, subscribe. Got any questions, let me know.